Welcome to this week's episode of eThekwini Matters. I am Zimbili Mazibuko, your host. The eThekwini municipality needs every skilled worker to contribute towards its prosperity. Persons with disabilities can make a positive contribution in the workplace. Through the city's Human Capital Unit, the city is working hard to promote inclusivity and provide equal employment opportunities for all employees. From the 3rd of November to the 3rd of December, we observe Disability Rights Awareness. And today in studio, we are honored to have Sibonelo Mselegu, our Disability Coordinator. Lwandle, sikubingelele sikwamukele namhlanje on eThekwini Matters.
Thank you. How are you?
I am very well, Sibonelo. It's good to have you in studio today.
Thank you so much.
From the 3rd of November to the 3rd of December, it's observed as Disability Rights Awareness. Can you please take us through that? What is that all about?
Disability Rights Awareness Month, it's a month whereby it's commemorated nationally with the aim of understanding, being educated about the rights and responsibilities of persons with disabilities, and also to allow people with disabilities to have platforms to share their views regarding their disability subject matters. It can be issues, it can be reasonable accommodation, it can be rights, responsibilities, and the acts that our societies, the industries, government sectors should acknowledge in order to accommodate people with disabilities, because we are facing with a lot of challenges. But within the space of month, it's also being in line with a way that is paving the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, of which is commemorated on the 3rd of December internationally. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all about.
That's about it. So who qualifies a person to be categorized as a person with a disability?
He's a specialist.
Any specialist?
Yes, any specialist. You see, before we continue with the session, I always think that if we have to speak about persons with disabilities and a disability, we need to first know about the definition so that we'll be able to go further.
Tell us about that. Please define it for us.
According to I'll focus more on the employment equity, because in our office that way we are being advised to reasonably accommodate people with disabilities based on the Employment Equity Act. So according to the Employment Equity Amended Bill of 2020, person with disability means people who have a long-term or recurring term. It can be physically impairment, sensory impairment, mental and intellectual impairment, which substantially limits prospects of advancement of employing or accommodating people with disabilities. And every impairment has the corresponding meaning. In a nutshell, I can say in my own opinion now, persons with disabilities are people who are limited, who have condition that limits them to perform some certain functions in a workplace. Like, for example, I myself was Sibonelo Mselegu. I have a polio disability, and in terms of impairment, I have a physical disability. And I've got limitations which limits me to perform some certain functions in a place. Like, I can't carry heavy loads because I don't have a full balance. Secondly, I always require sit to sits. I can't work in an area whereby it's always moving busy, you know. And for someone who have a visual impairment, maybe someone who's blind, someone maybe who have loss of vision of eyesight, also this person have a limitation of driving, you know, so that person, he or she won't be able to be a driver messenger, you know. And also, if you're speaking about someone who have a mental, intellectual, or neurology disability, this person also have his or her own limitations of performing some certain functions in a place. And someone who's also have a sensory disability, like people are deaf as well, they have their own certain limitations of performing some certain function in a place. So I like this session because, you know, when we speak about people with disabilities, it's my own observation and a reality, by the way, and experiences. People who don't have disabilities, they tend to think that disability, it's all about physical judgments. There are disabilities that are non-visible, like the mental and intellectual. Even I can relate it to deaf people. Like, for example, you'll come across in a workplace with someone who's deaf. Maybe he or she don't have some of a tag that's explaining that he or she is deaf. And you'll greet this person, "Hi, Vali," and this person will ignore you. If maybe you won't even wave, you like, "Hi, Vali." Yeah, she won't hear you. So those are the you'll only realize if that person you pay too attention to her. Maybe you wave or you tap slowly, and then she'll be able to respond in sign language. And even for mental and intellectual, those are the categorized invisible disability, like people who've got bipolar, people who've got dyslexia. And another reality is that even when people who don't have disabilities, when they see people with disabilities, they judge them with naked eyes. Like, mina njengosibonelo nje bangazi ukuthi okay mumbone indlela ahamba ngayo une-disability. But one thing I know is that we all have a disability in this world, because you are capable maybe in writing scriptures, proofreading things, coordinating and conducting these sessions. But when it's come to graphic design, you won't touch me, because I'm good at that, and that's what I love to do. When it comes to public speaking, I'm also good at that. It same applies with someone who is able to perform some certain functions in a place that I'm unable to perform. So either one of us have a disability in other ways. It's just that I don't understand why disability have to be so serious when you think about disability, because for me personally, it's my own personal observation. It's general, and we should treat people fairly, even if that person doesn't have a disability, because that person might require some assistance or any information from my side.
Now, let's talk about the different terminologies and terms that are used to refer to people who are living with a disability. What is the politically correct term that we should be using?
Hey, that wait. I don't want to put it politically. Yeah, but I can say correct term, like disability etiquette. To say do's and don'ts, don't say this word. Okay. We call that disability etiquette. Ne? Like, for example, there are a lot of terminologies. Like, people will say people living with disabilities. And in our office, we'll say person with disabilities or people with disabilities. And all that information that's in our department, when we make sure how to know the disability etiquette, we also get this information from the Implementing Equity Act document, the rights of persons with disabilities, and as well on the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. That's where we find all this information of how we could utilize in the workplace, because out there in the communities, in the societies, there are people out there who will say people living with disabilities. And I myself was I accommodate that, because I don't want to say everybody's wrong or right, but everything cancer mentioned earlier that we follow the documents that assist us to make sure that even if when we share this information in this platform, we put it in the right manner. So it's person with disabilities, not people living with disabilities. Yeah, that's correct. And even if when you see someone who's using a wheelchair, we don't say wheelchair bound. And I do know you don't say wheelchair bound, you say a wheelchair user or people who are using wheelchairs. And I do believe and know that when it comes to disability declaration, to answer your question that you asked before, to say how can someone declare or know he or she have a disability, I answered you to say that it's coming from the specialist. Yeah. Most of people, they will use like old terminology, like wheelchair bound and all other terminologies that were used before. So in order for you to also know that how can you declare your disability and know very correctly, Koguti, this is the right way of me or someone to know about disabilities. Also, you need to visit specialists as well. A person with a disability, if he or she has to be declared their disability status, they have to see the specialist. In the categories that I've mentioned earlier, like the physical impairment, sensory, mental and intellectual and neurological disability, all those categories, they have their own specialist, you know. So you need to see a specialist, not a general practitioner. Those doctors only, those specialists as well, they examine a person. Makuthi mhlambe unenkinga yamehlo, they will examine you. Makuthi mhlambe you are deaf or partially deaf or you have a hearing impairment, they will also examine you and then declare the nature of your disability, and they will write it correctly, and they will even recommend to say what types of this, how can the employer reasonably accommodate you in the place. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that when it comes to the correct terms of disability, I encourage that each and every one of us, we should read all these documents that I've mentioned. The White Paper on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the Employment Equity Act, and the United Nations Convention of Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And as well, within the department, to have sessions like the one that we conduct with communications online, where we invite different kinds of specialists to teach on how to accommodate people with disabilities in the workplace. So I wanted to share only those a few articles and how the city could expand more information to make sure that people with disabilities are accommodated.
Since we are still talking about, the workplace, that's very important. How is the city doing in terms of, its recruitment processes in regards to people who are living with a disability?
I can say the city is doing good. Yeah, because I'm here, I have a disability. There are people with disabilities in the workplace. And even though we haven't accommodated more and achieved more, we are not doing well. But at least there are people with disabilities in the workplace that are accommodated, but we want more. And in terms of recruitment processes of accommodating people with disabilities, we liaise more with human capital units, whereby they advertise vacancies and then we share to people with disabilities. And others do apply, others are discouraged because they have been applying and they are not accommodated. And we also share more of information, like the reference of application of how the city could accommodate people with disabilities. HR try all its best to accommodate people with disabilities, and we do make a follow-up in terms of recruitment. If maybe a person with disability have applied, to know what are the challenges and pros of cons on accommodating people with disabilities. Those are the few challenges that I can mention, but all I know is that there are line departments out there who accommodates people with disabilities, who are eager to know more about disability inclusion in the workplace. And we are also being encouraged by the Department of Labor to accommodate people with disabilities with 3% in the city. And we are currently sitting at 1.1%. Citywide on accommodating people with disabilities. So, and our variance is 1.8%. No, sorry, it's 1.9%. Yes, and I can say that the city need to accommodate more of persons with disabilities. It's not about the numbers. Yeah, it's not about the numbers. You know, when you go to other departments and other units out there, we present stats, we present disability inclusion. There's lots of things that we do. And the line will convince and say, no, we'll meet the targets. It's not about the numbers. It's about giving fair, equal opportunities to people with disabilities out there. And it's been done practically. And it's a hard process because at the end of the day, even though we engage with human capital practitioners, but at the end of the day, the person that makes a decision is lying, you know. So we advise and encourage line Goguti if they see applications of persons with disabilities or during their recruitment process as well, they must consider each and every applications because we've got various Osizakala centers within the city which has the human capital centers. Whereby there are computers out there, there are manual application, resources of how people could apply. And people from the communities that have disabilities, they utilize and they do apply. We do have this information. But the challenge is that they are not shortlisted. And in my own experience and of scenarios, it's due to lack of knowledge of how tourism accommodates that person. Because if you make a follow-up, the line will complain and say, within our building, it's not conducive. We won't be able to accommodate that person. He or she will say a lot of excuses. And then we'll advise and say, but we do have an architect there who can audit that building and give us a report how that building could be modified and accommodated individual. Maybe they will say, no, this person is blind and this poster requires a driver's license. And then we'll say, but your department do have a driver's messenger. That driver's messenger could be an assistant for that person. So in a nutshell, I'm trying to say, even IMU, they provide the JAWS systems, you know, for blind people to perform. They will say a lot of excuses, but resources are here in the council. So it's 50-50. We are doing good, we are doing bad, but all I know is that I myself and I do believe that someday the city will achieve the 3% targets because disability inclusion perspective, it's broad and it's big. And it just gets with this time, I can't say more, but it's broad and it's big. And I always relate with our leadership, like Nelson Mandela. They fought many years for freedom. So we as persons with disabilities, why not? Why we give up to advocates or to make sure that the organization accommodate people with disabilities. People with disabilities shouldn't be discouraged to say, I've been applying, but I'm not accommodated. Don't give up because the more you give up, you won't be accommodated because the bottom line is that you have to apply. And internally, there are stigmas, negative stigmas about people with disabilities, challenges. And in my own experience is that you break the stigma when you meet with that employee who have a negative thoughts about the person with disability and you have to educate that person. So even if there are no reasonable accommodation, but I know they do make adjustment. So I can say that the city is doing better compared to previous years.
That's actually very nice to hear. Now let's talk about the disability help desk, which was established by the Human Capital Unit. How is that assisting internally?
The Disability Help Desk was officially launched in 2021 after lockdown. with the aim of making sure that the city accommodates people with disabilities internally. And it's more focusing on the internal related matters. We only focus externally when we collaborate or engage with customers that consult with us. People who want to know more how I can apply for a municipality vacancy since I have a disability, because some of them they don't disclose. And also with the aim of increasing the value of disability inclusion in the workplace. To educate people with disability, to make sure that people with disabilities are reasonably accommodated. So that was the aim of having that disability help desk, and also to have an internal disability committee that will look to every clusters of how people with disabilities are accommodated. So in a nutshell, the office is opened for disability inclusion in the workplace.
So what are some of the programs that the city has to accommodate people who are living with a disability?
People with disabilities.
People with disabilities.
Okay. We've got a standard SDPIP program plan, of which that is guiding us every year to conduct programs. So within that SDPIP, we've got like programs of disability 101 sessions, where we go to departments where we talk about disability subject matters on how this department could accommodate people with disabilities. And we also conduct the disability awareness roadshows, whereby we go to communities out there as well as we collaborate with external organizations. If maybe they have programs, they invite us to go there and present ourselves, how the city is accommodating people with disabilities. And also the career expos, where we go to schools, special schools for people with disabilities, where we also share information of how the student, if they complete matric, the city can help them. And within those programs, we've got internal stakeholders that we collaborate with, like I would say Municipality Academy, our CIIU, human capital practitioners, the youth office, there's a fifth one. Yeah, the youth office, there's sometimes business supports, they do come as well. And they also go to universities, institutions. And the reason why we are grouped together is because those are the departments whereby, like Emma, they share more information of bursaries. Yeah. And the other programs that we do, we conduct disability management summits, whereby that's where we conduct sessions of line management to come and learn more about disability inclusion, how can they accommodate people with disability, and also to commit based on those recommended reasonable accommodations to accommodate people with disabilities. And obviously, we close our year with the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Yes.
Okay. Would you like to add anything else on this topic?
I would like to add, because in my own experience, disability is broad, like how I mentioned earlier. It's very broad, and I would say that I myself and I am too blessed to be given this opportunity by the city, because there are a lot of challenges when it comes to conducting these sessions. You know, challenges that sometimes makes you want to give up to make them. Like, for example, people with disabilities will think that if they come to your office and consult based on jobs opportunities, obviously we add them on the database that we have, and they will think that okay, knowing that we do not recruit people with disabilities, we do not even sit on a panel or shortlist people with disabilities, even in in a panel itself, there's no disability advisor or disability coordinator to say line or human capital practitioner or recruitment administrator. These are the applications that we have within the city. Can we check if there is a person with disability who have applied? So I want to share this because it's a big problem that we are facing with the city, of which I think that is limiting us to achieve the accommodation of people with disabilities. So people with disabilities, they if they've applied in those centers and are not shortlisted, they will give negative thoughts about our office, to say that lapha angisizwa because angiqashwa. And we've just thought that it will be more advisable now to focus on the next step, to say we must have the disability inclusive policy that will assist us to make sure that the city comply, the recruitment process, it's also lenient when it comes to accommodating people with disabilities, because the policy will be the best benefits even when we make follow-up to say, I will glad department, we saw this post and then people with disabilities have applied and we want to make a follow-up, what happened? So it's broad. And if we benchmark to other cities, you find even other organizations here within the city, you find that organizations don't have a disability desk. They have a disability unit, of which each and every unit has its own specialist or disability coordinator. Maybe in that section of that department, they focus on reasonable accommodation. That one maybe is focusing on budgeting of assistive devices. That's one maybe that department it's focusing on liaising with HRs, and they make sure that during the recruitment process, the disability coordinator is there to get the references. In this maybe post that has been advertised, these are the people who have applied and people with disabilities are included. So I want to emphasize this because it's a challenge for a citywide, So in future, I kindly propose to our municipality leadership to take it cautiously when it comes to disability inclusive programs and projects, because it's broad and it's big.
Thank you very much for your time, Lwandle.
Thank you so much.
That was Sibonelo Mseleko, our disability coordinator. My name is Zimbili Mazibuko, and from myself and the entire team, it's goodbye till next time. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe.